Welcome to How to Force Yourself to Be Disciplined. This audiobook is for anyone who knows what they should do, but struggles to take action. Discipline is not about waiting until you feel motivated. It is about doing what must be done, even when you do not feel like it. Think about it. How many times have you promised yourself to wake up early, to exercise, to study, or to work on a dream project, only to give in to excuses and distractions? We all know that discipline is the key to success, yet many people fail to build it. The truth is simple: without discipline, talent is wasted, goals remain unfinished, and potential stays locked inside. In this audiobook, you will learn how to push yourself when you are tired, how to stay focused when you are tempted, and how to turn discipline into a habit that shapes your entire life. These chapters are not about theory alone. They are about practical strategies you can use every single day. If you want to grow, subscribe to this channel so you do not miss any chapter. Stay with me as we walk step by step through the process of becoming disciplined. By the end, you will know not just why discipline matters, but exactly how to force yourself to live with it. Your journey to true discipline begins right here, right now. Chapter 1. Why discipline matters more than motivation. Most people wait for motivation before they act. They think, I will work when I feel inspired, or I will exercise when I feel ready. But the truth is, motivation is like the weather, it changes daily. Some days you feel strong and excited, other days you feel lazy and tired. If your life depends on motivation, your progress will always be unstable. That is why discipline is more powerful than motivation. Discipline is steady, reliable, and unshakable. Think of a farmer. Every morning, the farmer wakes up before sunrise to take care of the land. Rain or shine, tired or not, the farmer plants seeds, waters crops, and pulls weeds. If the farmer waited for motivation, the field would remain empty. The farmer's discipline ensures survival and growth. The same is true for you. Your goals, whether finishing school, building a career, getting fit, or improving yourself, require consistent action. Discipline is the engine that drives those actions. Consider Sarah, a student who wanted to improve her grades. At first, she relied on bursts of motivation. Some days she studied for hours, but on other days she avoided her books. Her results were uneven, and she often felt frustrated. When she decided to discipline herself by studying 1 hour every day, no matter what, her grades improved steadily. She no longer depended on fleeting energy. Discipline became her strongest tool. Motivation feels good, but it is temporary. Discipline feels tough at first, but it lasts. Motivation is like a spark. Discipline is the fire that keeps burning. Think of athletes. Champions are not people who only train when they feel motivated. They are the ones who train even on cold mornings, when their bodies ache, when they feel like giving up. Their success comes from discipline, not mood. But why does discipline matter more than motivation? Because discipline creates habits. Habits control most of your daily actions. Once discipline helps you repeat something long enough, it becomes automatic. At that point, you do not need to force yourself anymore. The habit takes over. For example, brushing your teeth is not a question of motivation. You do it daily because it is a habit. Imagine if studying, exercising, saving money, or working on your dreams became just as automatic. That is the power of discipline. Let us look at another story. Daniel wanted to get in shape. At first, he joined a gym and felt excited. For 2 weeks, he went regularly. But soon his motivation faded, and he skipped workouts. Months passed, and nothing changed. One day, he realized discipline was missing. He set a strict routine. Every morning at 7 a.m., he would work out for 30 minutes. He forced himself even on days when he felt lazy. Slowly, it became a habit. After a few months, results showed, and his body grew stronger. Motivation started the journey, but discipline carried it forward. Discipline also builds character. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your identity as someone who can be trusted. Each act of discipline tells your brain, I can rely on myself. This confidence spreads to every part of life. On the other hand, each time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken trust in your own abilities. You begin to doubt, hesitate, and settle for less. That is why forcing yourself to be disciplined is not just about goals, it is about shaping who you are. Some people believe discipline is restrictive, that it takes away freedom. In reality, discipline gives freedom. A disciplined student earns the freedom of good grades and career opportunities. A disciplined athlete earns the freedom of health and strength. A disciplined worker earns the freedom of financial stability. Without discipline, people remain trapped by procrastination, regret, and missed chances. Think about procrastination. Every time you delay, tasks pile up, stress grows, and opportunities slip away. But when you discipline yourself to act on time, life feels lighter. You gain control instead of being controlled by fear or delay. One of the hardest parts of discipline is starting. The beginning always feels heavy. Waking up early when you are tired feels terrible. Starting a workout feels painful. Opening a textbook feels boring. But once you start, momentum takes over, and the task becomes easier. Discipline teaches you to push past the starting point. Liam, for example, hated practicing piano. His teacher told him to practice for an hour, but he often avoided it. Then he tried a new approach. He disciplined himself to just sit at the piano and play for 5 minutes, no matter what. Often, those 5 minutes turned into 30 or 60 minutes. The discipline of starting removed the biggest barrier. Another reason discipline matters more than motivation is that life is unpredictable. Stress, bad days, distractions, all of these attack motivation, but discipline is stronger than circumstances. Discipline says, I will act, no matter what. Take the story of Mia, who worked a part-time job while studying. She was often tired when she came home. Motivation alone would not have helped her study, but discipline pushed her to open her books daily for an hour. She sacrificed comfort, but she built a better future. Discipline also teaches patience. Big results do not come instantly. A seed does not turn into a tree in a day. Discipline gives you the patience to water the seed daily, even when nothing seems to happen. Over time, invisible growth becomes visible success. Finally, discipline matters because it builds resilience. When you are disciplined, failure does not stop you. You try again, adjust, and continue. Motivation may run away when you fail, but discipline stays. To force yourself to be disciplined, remind yourself daily, motivation may come and go, but discipline is always under my control. Discipline is not a feeling, it is a decision. When you act with discipline, you take power over your life. Chapter 2. Breaking the comfort zone. Human beings are naturally drawn to comfort. The brain is wired to choose what feels easy, safe, and familiar. That is why the couch looks more attractive than the gym, and why scrolling on your phone feels easier than studying or working. But comfort is a trap. It gives short-term pleasure, but steals long-term growth. To be disciplined, you must learn how to break the comfort zone. Think of the comfort zone as a soft, warm blanket. It feels nice at first, but if you stay wrapped in it forever, you will never get up to face the world. The comfort zone promises peace, but it also locks you away from progress. Every great achievement requires stepping outside it. Take the story of Alex. He always wanted to start his own business, but felt safe in his regular job. The paycheck was steady, and the routine was easy. Yet, deep inside, he was unsatisfied. He read books about entrepreneurship, but fear kept him inside his comfort zone. One day he realized discipline was the only way forward. He forced himself to take small steps outside his safety bubble, researching, networking, and saving money. Slowly, he built his business. If he had stayed in his comfort zone, his dream would have died. Comfort tricks the mind. It tells you, relax, you can do it tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week becomes next year, and suddenly opportunities are gone. The disciplined person recognizes this trap. They push themselves to act today, even when tomorrow looks easier. But breaking the comfort zone does not mean you must leap into extreme challenges immediately. It means forcing yourself to grow gradually. Imagine a person who has never run before. If they try to run 10 miles on the first day, they will collapse. But if they discipline themselves to run just half a mile, then 1 mile, then 2, their body adapts. Growth happens step by step. Comfort also hides in excuses. I am too tired. I do not have time. I will wait until I feel ready. These excuses are not real barriers. They are comfort's voice. Discipline means ignoring those voices and choosing action over excuse. Take Maya, for example. She wanted to wake up earlier to study before work. But every night she told herself, I am too tired. I will try tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. Then she made a decision. She set her alarm and placed it across the room so she had to get up to turn it off. At first, it felt painful. But with discipline, she built the habit. Now, waking up early is natural. She escaped the comfort zone of the bed and gained extra hours of focus each day. Comfort feels good now, but painful later. Discipline feels painful now, but rewarding later. That is the simple trade. If you eat unhealthy food for comfort, the pleasure lasts a few minutes, but the regret and health problems last much longer. If you discipline yourself to eat healthy, the sacrifice is temporary, but the energy and confidence last much longer. The comfort zone also kills creativity. When you only do what is easy, you never discover your true potential. Great musicians, writers, scientists, and leaders grew because they forced themselves into uncomfortable practice, experiments, and challenges. They embraced failure as part of the process. Without stepping outside their comfort zone, they would have remained ordinary. Think of Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Each failure was uncomfortable, but his discipline to continue led to success. Imagine if he had chosen comfort and stopped after the first few attempts. The world might have remained in darkness. Breaking comfort requires mental strength. Your brain is designed to protect you from discomfort because it feels like danger, but most discomfort today is not real danger. Exercising is not dangerous. Studying is not dangerous. Speaking in public is not dangerous. Yet the brain reacts as if it is. Discipline helps you override this false alarm. One technique is to make discomfort your ally. For example, if public speaking terrifies you, discipline yourself to start with small audiences, maybe just a group of friends. Each time the fear decreases, the discomfort becomes familiar, and your comfort zone expands. Another strategy is to connect discomfort with your goals. When you feel pain in the gym, remind yourself it is building strength. When you feel boredom while studying, remind yourself it is sharpening your future. By linking discomfort with growth, you give it meaning. Comfort zones are also linked to environment. If you stay around people who never challenge themselves, you will feel normal in your comfort. But if you surround yourself with disciplined people, their energy will push you higher. Forcing yourself to leave comfortable environments can be the start of real growth. Finally, remember this. The comfort zone is not a place of rest, it is a place of slow decay. You may not notice it immediately, but the longer you stay there, the more your dreams fade. Discipline is the tool that breaks the walls of that zone. Each act of discipline, waking up early, saying no to distractions, pushing through fear, adds a crack to the wall. With time, the wall falls and freedom arrives. Breaking the comfort zone is not easy. Your body will resist, your mind will complain, and your emotions will try to stop you. But if you force yourself to push a little each day, the impossible becomes possible. Discipline transforms discomfort into growth. Ask yourself, do I want short-term comfort or long-term success? Every time you choose discipline, you choose a better future. Chapter 3. Building daily habits that stick. Discipline is not about making one big decision once in your life. It is about the small choices you make every single day. Success is not built in one day. It is built daily. The secret to lasting discipline is building daily habits that stick. Think about brushing your teeth. You do not need to be motivated to do it. You just do it every morning and night. It has become automatic. Imagine if working on your goals felt as natural as brushing your teeth. That is the power of habits. The human brain loves patterns. When you repeat something over and over, the brain creates a pathway, making it easier each time. At first, a new habit feels heavy, but with discipline, the brain adapts. Soon, the habit becomes automatic. Take Ethan, who wanted to start journaling. He promised himself to write every night, but he often forgot. Then he used discipline to attach journaling to something he already did, brushing his teeth. Each time he brushed, he opened his notebook. In a few weeks, journaling became part of his nightly routine. He no longer had to force it. The habit stuck. This is the secret. Discipline is the bridge that carries you from hard work to automatic habit. Once a habit is built, it requires less effort to maintain. But building habits takes time. Studies show it can take weeks, sometimes months, for a new behavior to become natural. That is why discipline is essential. Discipline keeps you consistent until the habit forms. Let us take another example. Olivia wanted to exercise daily. At first, she forced herself to do 30 push-ups each morning. It felt painful, and she wanted to quit. But she made a deal with herself. No matter what, she would do at least 5 push-ups. Even on the hardest days, she did those 5. Over time, her body adjusted, and soon 30 push-ups became easy. Then she increased to 50. The discipline to start small created a habit that grew bigger. One common mistake people make is trying to change too much at once. They decide to wake up earlier, exercise daily, eat healthy, study longer, and quit bad habits all at the same time. This overload makes them quit quickly. Discipline works best when you focus on one habit at a time, master one, then move to the next. Habits also require clear triggers. A trigger is something that reminds you to act. For example, if you want to build a reading habit, you can place a book on your pillow every morning. When you see it at night, you remember to read. Without triggers, habits are easy to forget. Consistency is more important than intensity. Reading 10 pages a day for a month is better than reading 100 pages once and then stopping. Discipline helps you show up daily, even in small amounts. Over time, small actions add up to big results. Another key is environment. Your surroundings can either support or destroy your habits. If you want to eat healthy but your kitchen is full of junk food, discipline becomes harder. If you want to study but your desk is full of distractions, focus becomes difficult. Setting up an environment that makes good habits easy and bad habits hard is part of discipline. Let us consider Jake, who wanted to stop wasting time on social media. Every evening he would scroll for hours, losing precious time. Then he decided to discipline himself by deleting social apps from his phone. He only allowed himself to use them on his computer at a fixed time. By changing his environment, he removed temptation. Soon, his evenings became free for reading and exercise. Celebrating small wins is also important. Discipline is not just about punishment, it is about reward. Each time you stick to your habit, acknowledge your progress. This builds positive momentum. But remember, missing one day is not failure. The danger comes when one missed day becomes many. Discipline means forgiving yourself quickly and returning to the habit immediately. Never let a small slip turn into a collapse. Think of habits like planting seeds. Discipline is the daily watering. At first, the soil looks empty. Weeks pass and still no plant. Many people quit here. But if you keep watering, one day the plant breaks through, then it grows taller, stronger, and eventually becomes a tree. Without daily discipline, the seed dies. Habits also connect together. A disciplined habit in one area often creates strength in others. For example, exercising daily can increase your energy, which makes it easier to focus on work. Waking up early gives you more time, which makes it easier to read, study, or build skills. Discipline in one habit builds discipline in all. Finally, habits are not about perfection. You do not need to be flawless. You just need to be consistent enough that the habit becomes part of who you are. Discipline ensures that even when you feel lazy, you still take action. Remember this: motivation may get you started, but habits keep you going. Discipline is the force that builds habits, and habits are the force that builds your life. Chapter 4. Mastering time for maximum discipline. Discipline is not just about willpower, it is also about how you use your time. Even the most motivated person cannot achieve much without managing their hours effectively. Time is the most valuable resource you have, and mastering it is a key step in becoming disciplined. Think about how often you waste time without realizing it. A few minutes scrolling through social media, checking your phone repeatedly, or watching TV shows add up. Weeks go by, months go by, and suddenly you wonder where all the time went. Discipline begins with awareness of time. Consider Sarah, a student who wanted to improve her grades. She realized she spent 2 hours every evening on her phone, thinking she would relax first and study later. By tracking her time, she discovered how much was wasted. She disciplined herself to replace just 1 hour of phone use with focused study. Within a few weeks, her grades improved. Small changes in time management multiplied her results. Time mastery begins with planning. Every day, decide what is most important and schedule it. Treat your priorities like appointments. Do not leave important tasks to chance. They need protection from distractions. Take Liam, who wanted to improve his running. He blocked time every morning for a workout, no matter how he felt. If he missed a session, he adjusted his schedule but never skipped the session entirely. By treating his training as a non-negotiable part of his day, he built discipline and consistency. Another technique is the concept of time blocking. Divide your day into chunks for specific activities: work, study, exercise, leisure, and rest. This prevents multitasking, which drains energy and focus. Discipline grows when you protect time for what matters most. Ethan wanted to write a book. He struggled to find time. Then he blocked 45 minutes each morning for writing. Even when tired or busy, he followed this schedule. Over months, these small blocks of time added up to thousands of words. Discipline was his tool for reclaiming time. Avoid distractions to preserve your disciplined time. Turn off notifications, silence your phone, and create a workspace that minimizes interruptions. Your environment either supports your focus or destroys it. The disciplined person designs it to support success. Mia, an aspiring artist, realized she spent hours distracted by online videos. She disciplined herself to study only in a quiet room with art supplies ready. Progress came faster, and she enjoyed the process more. Time mastery also includes energy management. You may have hours available, but if your energy is low, productivity suffers. Schedule demanding tasks during your peak energy periods and less demanding tasks when energy dips. Discipline is about working smarter, not just harder. Consider Alex, who was most alert in the morning. He scheduled studying and problem-solving in the early hours, leaving routine tasks like cleaning or errands for later. This alignment of energy and task increased both efficiency and discipline. Another important aspect is saying no. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you take time away from growth. Discipline requires protecting your schedule, prioritizing your goals, and refusing what does not serve them. Think about Daniel, who wanted to start a business. He was invited to parties, social events, and endless meetings. At first he felt guilty saying no, But he realized his time was limited, and every yes to unimportant activities delayed his goal. Discipline taught him to say no confidently. Consistency in time use builds momentum. Showing up at the same time each day, working on your priorities, and sticking to your schedule turns effort into habit. Over time, this daily structure reinforces discipline in all areas of life. Finally, reflection is key. At the end of each day, review how you used your time. Did you focus on your goals, or did you drift? Identify wasted moments and adjust tomorrow. Discipline grows when you learn from experience and take control of each day. Mastering time is not about rigidity. It is about designing life so that your priorities receive attention, distractions are minimized, and progress becomes inevitable. Discipline flourishes when time becomes your ally rather than your enemy. Chapter 5. Eliminating distractions that steal your focus. Discipline is about doing what matters, even when distractions try to pull you away. In today's world, distractions are everywhere: phones, social media, games, TV, chat apps, even friends. Every distraction is a tiny thief stealing your time, energy, and focus. To force yourself to be disciplined, you must recognize and eliminate these distractions. Think about Noah. He wanted to study for his exams, but his phone buzzed constantly with notifications. Each buzz pulled him out of focus, making study sessions longer and less effective. At first he tried to resist, but sheer willpower was exhausting. Then he disciplined himself to turn off notifications, put his phone in another room, and set specific study periods. With distractions removed, his focus improved, and he finished tasks faster. Distractions create a false sense of busyness. Scrolling social media may feel productive because it keeps you occupied, but it does not move you closer to your goals. Discipline requires identifying these false activities and removing them. Consider Emma, who wanted to write a book. She realized that she spent hours checking emails and browsing news sites, thinking it was research. She disciplined herself to check emails only twice a day and schedule research sessions. Suddenly, she had more time and mental clarity to write, and her progress accelerated. The first step in eliminating distractions is awareness. Notice what steals your attention. Is it social media, video games, chatting, TV, or even random tasks? Awareness allows you to act. Without noticing distractions, they silently sabotage your discipline. Next, create boundaries. Boundaries tell your brain when and where to focus. For instance, you might decide, no phone during work hours, no social media after 9 p.m., or no games until homework is complete. Boundaries reduce decision fatigue because the rules are already set. Jake wanted to build a habit of exercising daily. At first he would get distracted by his phone or TV, missing workouts. Then he disciplined himself to leave his phone in another room and put on workout clothes immediately after waking up. With distractions removed, workouts became consistent. Another strategy is the environment hack. Design spaces that encourage discipline. A clean desk, a quiet room, or a dedicated study area signals your brain that it is time to focus. Conversely, clutter, noise, and temptation weaken discipline. Take Liam, who wanted to study for competitive exams. Initially, he studied in his bedroom with a messy desk and TV on. Concentration was poor. Then he set up a small table in the living room with minimal clutter and no electronics. The environment itself helped him stay disciplined. Discipline is also about saying no. Saying yes to everything creates a life filled with distractions. Every invitation, every unnecessary task, every time-wasting habit competes with your priorities. Learning to say no is a critical skill for self-discipline. Consider Sarah, who wanted to improve her fitness. Friends invited her to hang out multiple times a week. Initially, she went along and skipped workouts. Then she politely declined social events during her training schedule. Discipline meant protecting her time, not isolating herself, and her fitness improved dramatically. Focus requires energy, and distractions drain it. The more you resist distractions, the more willpower you consume. By proactively eliminating distractions, you save mental energy and make disciplined action easier. Mia wanted to practice piano daily. Initially, she tried to play with her phone nearby for music apps. Notifications kept popping up, and she lost focus. By putting her phone in another room and setting a timer for uninterrupted practice, she disciplined herself to focus fully. Progress came faster, and with less frustration. Finally, understand that eliminating distractions is not a one-time task. New distractions will appear. Discipline requires ongoing vigilance. Check your environment, adjust routines, and refine boundaries regularly to maintain focus. The principle is simple. If something does not move you closer to your goals, it is a distraction. Discipline is choosing what matters and removing what does not. Each distraction you remove is time and energy gained for your growth. By controlling your environment, setting boundaries, and saying no to time wasters, you create space for consistent action. This is the power of disciplined focus. It allows you to do more, grow faster, and achieve your goals. Chapter 6: The Power of a Structured Routine. Discipline thrives on structure. Without a routine, life becomes chaotic. Decisions pile up, and energy gets wasted. A structured routine tells your brain what to expect, reduces decision fatigue, and makes disciplined action almost automatic. Think of a soldier in training. Every day follows a schedule. Wake up, exercise, eat, train. Rest. The routine is strict, and the day is organized. This structure develops habits, strengthens discipline, and prepares the soldier to act under pressure. The same principle applies to your life. Consider Emma, who wanted to improve her productivity. She often wasted mornings deciding what to do first. Feeling overwhelmed, then she created a structured routine. Wake up at 6 a.m., exercise for 30 minutes, have breakfast, study from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., and tackle work tasks afterward. With structure, her day became predictable, focused, and productive. Decisions became easier, and mental energy stayed high. Routines reduce reliance on willpower. When your actions are scheduled, you don't need to debate whether to do them. Discipline is less about forcing yourself in the moment and more about designing your life so the right actions happen automatically. Take the story of Liam, who wanted to practice piano consistently. At first, he played whenever he felt like it, leading to irregular progress. Then he scheduled daily practice from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Each day, he followed the same schedule. Eventually, practice became automatic, and improvement followed naturally. A structured routine also strengthens focus. When you know what comes next, your mind is less distracted. You can dedicate your energy to execution instead of planning or worrying. Consider Sarah, who wanted to study for competitive exams. By breaking her day into study blocks with short breaks, she maintained focus without feeling burned out. The routine turned study sessions into habit, and productivity soared. Discipline in a routine is about consistency, not rigidity. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes adjustments are necessary, but having a backbone, a schedule that guides your actions, keeps you on track even when circumstances change. Noah wanted to exercise daily. Some mornings he was tired, other days work ran late, but because he had a set routine, he found alternative times to complete his workout rather than skipping it entirely. The routine provided flexibility within structure. Another key benefit of routines is momentum. Once daily actions become habitual, momentum carries you forward. Tasks that once felt difficult start feeling natural, and resistance decreases. Mia wanted to write every day. At first it was hard to start, but with a scheduled writing time each afternoon, she developed momentum. Soon, ideas flowed naturally, and writing became part of her identity. Discipline transformed into effortless action. Creating a routine requires prioritization. Not everything deserves equal attention. Focus on high-impact actions first. Exercise, learning, work, and personal growth. Secondary tasks can fill remaining time. Prioritization ensures your discipline is spent on what truly matters. Consider Jake, who wanted to balance work, study, and health. He scheduled workouts early, study in blocks, and delegated minor tasks. The routine prevented chaos and ensured steady progress. Finally, routines also reinforce accountability. When your day is structured, deviations are visible. You can easily identify missed actions and adjust. This transparency strengthens discipline because you cannot hide from your own schedule. Remember, discipline is easier when life is organized. A structured routine creates predictability, reduces decision fatigue, builds momentum, and allows consistent action. With a strong routine, you no longer rely solely on willpower. Your day supports discipline naturally. The power of a structured routine is simple. Plan your day, follow your schedule, adjust when needed, and repeat consistently. Over time, disciplined action becomes automatic, and your goals move closer with each passing day. Chapter 8. Setting clear goals that drive discipline. Discipline without direction is like a ship without a compass. You may work hard, but without clear goals, your effort drifts aimlessly. To force yourself to be disciplined, you must set clear, specific goals that guide your actions and give meaning to your effort. Consider Liam, who wanted to get fit. At first, he exercised randomly, unsure what he wanted to achieve. Sometimes he ran, sometimes he lifted weights, often quitting when it felt boring. Then he set a goal. Run 5 miles in under 40 minutes and increase bench press weight by 20 pounds in 3 months. Suddenly, every workout had purpose. Discipline became easier because he knew exactly what he was working toward. Goals act as a roadmap for discipline. They help prioritize tasks, make decisions easier, and provide motivation when effort feels hard. Without goals, energy is scattered and consistency becomes difficult. Emma wanted to improve her writing. Instead of vague intentions like "I want to be better," she set a goal. Write 500 words daily and finish 1 short story per month. This clarity transformed her routine. Each day, she knew precisely what to do, and self-discipline followed naturally. Effective goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. These characteristics, often called SMART goals, create a framework where discipline can thrive. Vague goals, like "I want to read more," are less effective than "I will read 20 pages every evening before bed." Consider Noah, who wanted to save money. "I want to save more" is vague. "I will save $100 every month for 6 months" is specific and measurable. With this goal, self-discipline is easier because the target is clear, and progress can be tracked. Goals also help in prioritization. Life presents countless demands, distractions, and opportunities. Without clear goals, every choice feels equally important. With goals, decisions become simple. Actions that align with your goals get priority. Everything else becomes secondary. Take Mia, who wanted to learn coding. Her goal was to build a small app within 2 months. With that goal in mind, she prioritized learning essential coding skills first and avoided distractions like unrelated tutorials or unnecessary social media browsing. The goal provided focus, and discipline became manageable. Setting challenging goals pushes you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. Easy goals may be comfortable, but do not develop strong discipline. Ambitious goals create situations where discipline is necessary, forging habits of persistence and resilience. Consider Alex, who wanted to run a marathon. A 5K would have been easy, but he set a goal of completing the full 26.2 miles in 6 months. The challenge required him to wake up early, train consistently, and follow a strict nutrition plan. Each day, discipline became the tool that transformed intention into achievement. Tracking progress reinforces discipline. Regularly reviewing goals and measuring progress creates a feedback loop. You see how far you have come and what still needs work. This builds motivation, confidence, and accountability. Sarah wanted to improve her drawing. She tracked the number of sketches completed each week, noted improvements, and identified weaknesses. The clear metrics kept her disciplined, showing that consistent effort led to visible results. Goals also provide meaning to discipline. Action alone can feel like struggle, but action toward meaningful goals feels purposeful. When you know why you are pushing yourself, discipline becomes less about sacrifice and more about intentional growth. Finally, remember that goals are not set in stone. Adjust them as you learn, grow, and achieve milestones. Flexibility ensures that your discipline remains aligned with your evolving priorities, preventing burnout or wasted effort. To force yourself to be disciplined, set clear, measurable, and meaningful goals. Let those goals guide your daily actions, shape your routine, and give your discipline a purpose. With clarity of direction, every act of self-discipline moves you closer to the life you want. Chapter 9. Overcoming procrastination with action. Procrastination is the enemy of discipline. It disguises itself as rest, preparation, or waiting for the right moment, but in reality, it steals time, energy, and opportunities. To force yourself to be disciplined, you must learn to overcome procrastination by taking immediate action. Consider Emma, who wanted to write a book. Every morning she planned to write but kept delaying, thinking, "I'll start after breakfast," or "I need more inspiration." Hours passed, and nothing was written. Eventually, she realized that action, not motivation, was the cure. She disciplined herself to write just one paragraph, no matter what. Often that one paragraph turned into a full page. The act of starting destroyed procrastination. Procrastination thrives on perfectionism and overthinking. People delay action because they fear failure, want everything to be perfect, or feel unprepared. Discipline is about accepting imperfection and moving forward anyway. Action, even imperfect action, is better than waiting. Take Liam, who wanted to start exercising. He thought, "I need new gym clothes. I'll start Monday, and I should plan my meals first." Monday never came, and the plan remained incomplete. Then he forced himself to put on his old workout clothes and exercise at home for 10 minutes. That small action broke the procrastination cycle and created momentum. Another powerful tool is the 2-minute rule. If a task can be started in 2 minutes or less, do it immediately. Opening a notebook, writing the first line, or sending the first email may feel small, but these initial actions reduce the mental barrier to doing more. Noah wanted to clean his study room but kept putting it off. One day, he decided to start by picking up just 3 items. That small action triggered a chain reaction, and within an hour, the room was completely organized. Discipline begins with a single step. Breaking tasks into smaller, manageable pieces also defeats procrastination. Large tasks feel overwhelming and paralyze action. By dividing work into chunks, you create achievable steps that require discipline but feel doable. Take Mia, who wanted to learn piano. She felt intimidated by the idea of mastering a full song. Instead, she disciplined herself to practice one measure at a time. Gradually, she played full songs without feeling overwhelmed. Progress became natural. Procrastination also hides behind distractions. Phones, social media, television, or casual chatting provide an escape from tasks that require effort. Eliminating these distractions, as discussed in earlier chapters, strengthens your ability to act immediately. Sarah wanted to complete her assignments, but kept checking social media. She disciplined herself to leave her phone in another room and focus for a set time. By acting immediately on each task without giving in to distraction, she reduced procrastination and improved productivity. Another effective method is to set deadlines. Even self-imposed deadlines create urgency. When a task has a defined endpoint, discipline becomes easier because the brain recognizes the necessity of action. Liam wanted to learn coding but kept delaying. He set a 2-week deadline to complete a small project. The time pressure forced him to act consistently, build momentum, and develop a routine of disciplined work. Mindset also matters. Accept that discomfort, resistance, and boredom are part of action. Procrastination is a signal that growth is happening. By interpreting this resistance as a sign of progress, you reinforce discipline rather than giving in to avoidance. Finally, remember, action fuels discipline. Every time you act, even when you do not feel like it, you strengthen your self-control, reduce mental resistance, and build habits. Procrastination weakens the mind. Immediate action strengthens it. To force yourself to be disciplined, stop waiting for motivation. Break tasks into steps, start immediately, manage distractions, and embrace imperfection. Each step forward is a victory, and consistent action transforms procrastination into progress. Chapter 10. Leveraging accountability to strengthen discipline. Discipline is easier when you are accountable to someone or something. Accountability is a powerful tool because it creates external pressure to act consistently. Knowing that others are watching or expecting results reinforces your internal drive. Consider Mia, who wanted to improve her writing. She joined a writing group and shared weekly progress with members. The thought of letting them down made her show up consistently. Even on days she felt unmotivated, accountability pushed her to take action. Over time, this external structure strengthened her discipline. Accountability works because it creates consequences. When your actions or inactions affect others, the cost of neglecting responsibilities becomes real. You are less likely to procrastinate, skip practice, or ignore goals when someone else is aware of your commitments. Take Liam, who wanted to learn guitar. He made a promise to a friend that he would perform a song at the end of the month. The social pressure motivated him to practice daily. The discipline required was easier because it was tied to accountability, not just personal desire. Accountability can take many forms. You can have a friend, mentor, coach, or even an online group. You can share goals publicly, post progress updates, or track achievements with a partner. The key is visibility. Someone else knows, and that knowledge drives action. Noah wanted to improve his fitness. He joined a workout challenge with friends. Each day, they posted their results. Missing a day would be noticeable. The accountability of the group helped him maintain consistency and made discipline a habit. Self-imposed accountability also works. You can track tasks, set reminders, or create consequences for not following through. For example, if you do not complete a study session, you could commit to doing extra work or donating to a cause you do not like. This creates stakes, even without another person. Emma wanted to study daily. She created a calendar where she marked each completed session. Missing a day was obvious, creating a small but effective consequence. Her discipline improved because she could see her progress and the impact of neglect. Accountability also strengthens focus. When others are aware of your actions, it reduces excuses. The mind is less likely to rationalize avoidance or procrastination. Every action becomes meaningful, connected to a larger expectation. Consider Sarah, who wanted to learn coding. By joining an online accountability group, she had weekly milestones to report. Even when tired, she logged her progress to maintain credibility. The external expectations strengthened her self-discipline. Another benefit is encouragement. Accountable partners can celebrate wins, provide feedback, and push you through challenges. Support reinforces discipline by combining pressure with positive reinforcement. Liam, who wanted to run a marathon, partnered with a friend. They checked in daily, shared running stats, and encouraged each other. The accountability system kept them disciplined, and neither wanted to let the other down. Finally, remember that accountability is most effective when combined with clear goals. Sharing vague intentions is less powerful than sharing specific measurable targets. The more concrete your commitments, the stronger the discipline reinforced by accountability. To force yourself to be disciplined, use accountability strategically, make commitments public, track progress visibly, partner with someone, or create consequences for inaction. Accountability is not a crutch, it is a tool that amplifies your internal drive and ensures consistent, disciplined action. Chapter 11. Rewarding yourself without losing discipline. Discipline is not just about resisting temptation or working hard, it also involves rewarding yourself strategically. Rewards can reinforce habits, motivate action, and make consistent effort enjoyable. The key is to reward in ways that strengthen, not weaken, your discipline. Consider Mia, who was practicing piano daily. After completing a week of consistent practice, she treated herself to a favorite snack. The reward created positive reinforcement. Her brain associated disciplined effort with pleasure. This cycle made it easier to continue practicing every day. Rewards must be aligned with your goals. Indulging in behaviors that contradict your efforts can undermine discipline. For example, if your goal is fitness, celebrating with unhealthy junk food can cancel the progress you made. Instead, choose rewards that support growth, relaxation, or mental refreshment. Take Liam, who wanted to write every day. After finishing a major chapter, he allowed himself an afternoon walk in the park or a short movie break. These rewards were meaningful, yet they did not derail his progress. The discipline reward cycle created momentum for sustained effort. Small rewards can be surprisingly effective. They signal accomplishment without creating dependency. For example, a short break, a cup of coffee, listening to music, or a brief chat with a friend can serve as immediate, reinforcing rewards. Over time, these small incentives make daily discipline more sustainable. Noah, who was learning to code, used rewards strategically. After completing a complex coding problem, he would take a 10-minute break to stretch or enjoy a snack. The break did not compromise his learning. It enhanced focus and motivation. Rewards also prevent burnout. Continuous discipline without acknowledgement of effort can feel tedious. Celebrating progress, even in small ways, replenishes mental energy and prevents the mind from rebelling against consistency. Consider Emma, who was following a strict study schedule. She scheduled mini rewards after each study session. These small moments of pleasure made the routine enjoyable and encouraged her to stay disciplined, even on challenging days. Another approach is long-term rewards. For example, completing a month of consistent workouts could earn a weekend outing or a personal treat. Long-term rewards reinforce commitment and provide a bigger picture of achievement. Discipline and rewards are most effective when balanced. Too few rewards make effort feel painful. Too many can create dependency or distraction. The right balance encourages consistency while maintaining focus on your primary goals. Jake wanted to improve his reading habit. He disciplined himself to read 30 pages daily. After a week, he allowed himself a small reward, watching an episode of a favorite show. Over time, this approach strengthened both his reading habit and his ability to resist distractions. Rewards also serve as positive feedback. When you see progress and celebrate it, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical that reinforces learning and habit formation. This neurological response makes continued discipline more natural. Finally, remember that rewards do not have to be material or extravagant. A feeling of accomplishment, a pat on your own back, or even a mental acknowledgement of progress can be powerful incentives. The key is to connect the reward directly with disciplined effort. To force yourself to be disciplined, plan strategic rewards that reinforce growth, celebrate small wins, and maintain balance. Rewards are not a weakness, they are a tool that strengthens your ability to act consistently, resist temptation, and achieve your goals. Chapter 12. Learning from setbacks without losing momentum. Discipline is not about never failing. In fact, setbacks are inevitable. The difference between successful, disciplined people and the rest is how they respond to failure. To force yourself to be disciplined, you must learn to recover from setbacks without losing momentum. Consider Emma, who was trying to wake up at 5 a.m. daily. One day, she overslept and missed her routine. Instead of giving up and thinking, "I failed, I'll start tomorrow," she reminded herself that one slip does not erase progress. She got up, followed her schedule for the rest of the day, and returned to her early morning routine the next day. This resilience reinforced her discipline. Setbacks provide lessons. Every failure contains feedback about what works and what does not. Disciplined individuals analyze their mistakes, adjust strategies, and move forward. They do not see failure as a permanent defeat, but as temporary feedback. Take Noah, who wanted to stick to a strict study schedule. He missed a few sessions due to social events. Instead of quitting entirely, he reviewed what caused the missed days, adjusted his schedule, and made a stronger plan. His discipline grew stronger because he learned to anticipate challenges and respond effectively. Emotional reactions can sabotage discipline. Feeling guilty, frustrated, or disappointed after a setback often leads to giving up. The key is to accept emotions, but not let them dictate behavior. Focus on action rather than blame. Liam, who was practicing piano, missed several practice days due to illness. Instead of dwelling on lost time, he resumed immediately once he recovered, practicing diligently. His progress continued, proving that discipline is about consistency, not perfection. Another strategy is preparation. Anticipate obstacles and create backup plans. When setbacks occur, having a plan allows you to continue without losing momentum. Mia wanted to run every morning but knew that rain or fatigue could interrupt her schedule. She prepared indoor workouts and flexible timing as alternatives. When setbacks occurred, she stayed disciplined by switching to backup plans rather than abandoning her routine. Accountability, discussed in previous chapters, also helps during setbacks. Sharing goals and progress with someone else creates external support and motivation to continue after failure. Knowing that someone else is aware of your commitments can prevent you from giving up. Setbacks also test your mindset. Discipline is about perseverance. Each time you overcome a hurdle, you prove to yourself that your commitment is stronger than temporary discomfort. Resilience and mental toughness are byproducts of disciplined responses to failure. Consider Sarah, who was learning coding. She struggled with difficult problems and failed several times. Instead of quitting, she used each failure as a learning opportunity, refining her approach. Over time, her coding skills improved dramatically. Finally, setbacks remind you that discipline is a long-term journey. Success does not come in a straight line. There will be ups and downs, delays and challenges. The disciplined person maintains forward motion, even if the steps are smaller than planned. To force yourself to be disciplined, treat setbacks as feedback, plan for obstacles, manage emotions, and continue acting consistently. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about persistence, recovery, and commitment over time. Chapter 13. Focusing on the process, not just the outcome. Many people struggle with discipline because they obsess over results instead of focusing on the process. Goals are important, but fixating solely on the end result can lead to frustration, procrastination, and inconsistency. To force yourself to be disciplined, you must learn to value the process. Consider Emma, who wanted to write a novel. She became anxious about finishing the book and worried it might not be perfect. The pressure paralyzed her, and she avoided writing. Once she shifted her focus to the process, writing a small number of words each day, revising gradually, and enjoying the act of creating, discipline became natural. She stopped fearing failure and started showing up consistently. The process is where growth happens. Talent, results, and success are byproducts of consistent, disciplined action. By focusing on daily effort rather than instant outcomes, you build habits that compound over time. Take Noah, who wanted to improve his fitness. He was frustrated by slow progress on the scale or in strength. When he focused on the process, attending workouts, following nutrition, and gradually increasing intensity, he enjoyed each step. The results came naturally, as a consequence of disciplined routines. Focusing on the process also reduces stress. Outcomes are often influenced by external factors beyond your control. By concentrating on what you can control, your actions, effort, and decisions, you minimize frustration and stay consistent. Liam, for example, wanted to learn a new language. He worried about not speaking fluently quickly. Once he shifted focus to practicing daily, learning new words, and engaging in short conversations, he made steady progress. The process itself became rewarding, and fluency followed naturally. Another benefit of process-oriented thinking is resilience. When challenges arise, concentrating on effort rather than results helps maintain discipline. You keep showing up because the act itself has value, not because of immediate success. Mia, practicing piano, initially became discouraged when she struggled with difficult pieces. Instead of quitting, she focused on consistent daily practice, breaking songs into smaller sections and celebrating incremental improvement. By valuing the process, she maintained discipline and eventually mastered the pieces. Process-oriented discipline also encourages learning from mistakes. When the focus is on outcomes alone, failure can feel devastating. When the focus is on the process, setbacks become opportunities to adjust techniques, refine strategies, and strengthen habits. Sarah wanted to improve her coding skills. Instead of worrying about completing projects perfectly, she concentrated on learning concepts, writing code daily, and debugging patiently. Each session built her competence and confidence, proving that consistent process-focused discipline leads to results. Finally, process-focused discipline reinforces identity. When you repeatedly engage in positive daily actions, you start seeing yourself as someone who is disciplined. Your identity aligns with consistent effort rather than temporary results, creating lasting change. To force yourself to be disciplined, shift attention from outcomes to actions. Practice daily, value effort, learn from mistakes, and embrace the journey. Results will follow naturally, but disciplined effort is the true reward. Chapter 14. Building mental toughness through challenges. Discipline is not only about routines, habits, or rewards. It is also about mental toughness. Life constantly throws challenges at you: stress, failure, distractions, and unexpected obstacles. To force yourself to be disciplined, you must train your mind to handle difficulty without giving up. Consider Noah, who was trying to stick to a strict study schedule. One week, he faced illness and family responsibilities that disrupted his routine. Instead of quitting entirely, he adapted his schedule, reduced distractions, and pushed through small, manageable sessions. This resilience strengthened his mental toughness and reinforced discipline. Mental toughness grows through consistent exposure to challenges. Each time you face discomfort, resistance, or difficulty, and still act according to your plan, you expand your capacity to handle adversity. Discipline becomes easier because the mind learns that temporary pain does not require surrender. Take Mia, who wanted to wake up at 5 a.m. daily. The first few weeks were grueling. Cold mornings, tired body, and the temptation to stay in bed. She forced herself to get up anyway. Over time, the discomfort became manageable, and the act of resisting it built mental strength. Discipline became less about struggle and more about habit. Challenges also reveal weaknesses. Facing them allows you to identify areas where you lack focus, preparation, or self-control. Once identified, these areas can be strengthened through targeted practice, creating a cycle of continuous improvement. Liam wanted to run longer distances. At first, he struggled to complete 2 miles without stopping. Instead of giving up, he pushed slightly further each day, gradually building stamina. The repeated challenge increased both physical and mental resilience, demonstrating how discipline grows through small, incremental tests. Mental toughness requires embracing discomfort rather than avoiding it. The human brain naturally seeks comfort, but growth happens outside that zone. Discipline transforms discomfort from an enemy into a signal for opportunity. Emma, learning to write daily, often faced creative blocks and frustration. Instead of abandoning her routine, she wrote anyway, forcing herself through resistance. Each completed session, even when imperfect, strengthened her mind and her commitment to discipline. Another tool for building mental toughness is reframing setbacks. Challenges are not punishments, they are opportunities to practice resilience. Every obstacle is a chance to act despite resistance, proving to yourself that discipline is stronger than temporary hardship. Consider Sarah, who struggled with coding difficult algorithms. She reframed frustration as a test of her patience and problem-solving skills. Each time she persevered, she built confidence, mental toughness, and discipline simultaneously. Consistency is key. Mental toughness does not develop overnight. Small, daily exposures to challenges, resisting distractions, completing uncomfortable tasks, waking up early, facing fears, accumulate over time, strengthening your mind and your self-discipline. Finally, mental toughness ensures sustainability. Life will always present distractions, setbacks, and temptations. Discipline alone, without mental resilience, is fragile. Building mental toughness through consistent, deliberate challenge creates a foundation where disciplined action becomes reliable, even under pressure. To force yourself to be disciplined, seek challenges, face discomfort, act consistently despite resistance, and reframe obstacles as growth opportunities. Mental toughness amplifies your ability to follow through, creating a life where discipline is not occasional, it is unstoppable.